It's funny because we do a lot of global projects, and even in today's technologically advanced world, we find that I can do a very complex project globally, remotely, if I bring everybody together face to face for 3 to 5 days. If I can get them all in the same room, force these conversations to happen. You're not looking at your phone. You're in the room with me. You're not distracted by a phone call. We're all together, 10 of us, 20 of us in a room. And through a conversation, we're saying, I do this. And this is where this is where the magic happens, because somebody says, no, 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 I don't do that. Joe does that. This is why we're always in trouble, because I get this on my to-do list and I just don't do it because it's not my task. It's Joe's task. Well, yeah, I can give you a concrete example. I did a project for a semiconductor company in Silicon Valley a couple years ago. And these two engineers had worked together for 5 years. Right? Had never actually met, but they'd worked together virtually for 5 years. Now, there's a design engineer and a test engineer. And if you're in the semiconductor space, you want the test engineer to be somebody who didn't design it, not because they're going to cheat, but only because if you test the chip that you design, you have internal biases and you know how it works. So of course,
Mhm.
you're going to make intuitive steps, right? That make sense to you, but you want somebody who didn't design it to try to break it. And so we're in the planning session and have a coffee break. And not even part of the planning, the design engineer and the test engineer having coffee together. And the test engineer says to the design engineer, if you change this one thing in your design, we could save 25% of our test time.
Wow.
And that
And
conversation
that one had come up.
could have happened any time in the past 5 years, but did not until they were in a room face to face.
That's crazy.
That's where you get the serendipitous conversations that happen and you get to know people. And I'll turn it back over to you, but let me say one more thing about it. In these sessions, part of the issue or part of what we're trying to solve isn't just to walk away with a robust project plan, which of course we are, but we find that I can run the project remotely if I form connections and bonds to the people on my team. What I really need to do is turn you from an email address to which I don't really feel a responsibility or accountability into a living, breathing
I
human
see.
being that I've made a connection with, right? And so now when I go back and I know more about James, I know more about Yoshi, and I get, I like, you have two kids, I have two kids. I'm making all this up, but we
You're
both
right.
love soccer, we both
You're
love
bang on.
football, all this stuff, right? And so now I'm going to hold myself accountable to make sure the work gets done, because I don't want to be the reason you have to miss some big event in your kid's life because you had to work to make up for my lateness over a weekend.
Yeah.
And we find those bonds can be formed. We can do the rest of the project, 2 years can be done remotely, but those bonds are so important. We form them on the front end.